The Jamaica Inn was built in 1750 on Bodmin Moor in Cornwall as a coaching inn and a place that travellers making the long and treacherous journey across the moors could take shelter and rest. Due to its location, however, and Cornwall's long involvement in being a haven for smugglers and highwaymen, it soon became a halfway house for criminals smuggling in their contraband. Wreckers, as they were known, were said to prowl the Cornish coastline in the early 19th century, luring ships in through the use of lights on the shore. Many sailors, being disorientated by this, would then crash their ships into the rocky outcrops. The wreckers then boarded, stealing anything of value and bringing it ashore to places such as the Jamaica Inn. It's estimated that half the brandy and a quarter of all tea being smuggled into the UK in the 18th and 19th century was landed in Cornwall and Devon. And being so isolated, the Jamaica Inn was an ideal stopping place for the contraband to be hidden before being transported further inland and sold on. Although the inn's changed a lot since the days of smugglers and highwaymen passing through its doors, it still retains a feel of its former self, with many original wooden beams and fireplaces, something that's the perfect backdrop for the tales of ghosts and supernatural events it's become so well known for in recent years. Room 4 is believed to be one of the most haunted areas of the inn, with people hearing disembodied voices and heavy, booted footsteps making their way across the room. The apparition of a gentleman thought to be an old highwayman has also been seen here, dressed in a long green coat and a tricorn hat atop his head. In room 5, guests have woken in the dead of night to the sight of a woman and child in their room, who proceed to turn and walk through the wall. Although historical records are vague, it's said that a lady and her daughter caught a boat from Falmouth which sank, taking their lives, their ghosts now haunting the room where they spent their last night on Earth. An area outside the building that's been the scene of numerous strange events is the courtyard. Both guests and passers-by have heard the sound of horses' hooves and cartwheels on gravel. Now today the courtyard's actually cobbled, however back in the day it was indeed laid with gravel, something completely unknown to the people that have had these experiences. The most famous ghost story at the Jamaica Inn is that of the murdered stranger. Legend says that many years ago a young man was drinking at the bar before being lured out. He was never seen again and is thought to have been murdered, his body dumped on the moors. His ghost has often been seen, standing in the corner, leaning up against the fireplace, having returned all these years later to finish his drink. It's also believed to be his ghost has been seen sitting on the wall outside of the inn. Other activity here has included numerous people seeing apparitions in various degrees of clarity all over the building, including sightings of ghostly airmen, children, and of course shades believed to be old smugglers. Most interestingly, voices have also been heard, spoken in an unknown language, many believing it to be Old Cornish. Wherever we investigate, whether it's old churches, castles, jails or inns such as Jamaica Inn, we often find ourselves encountering ghost stories relating to historical people, obviously in this case smugglers and highwaymen. But the thing that always interests me is, are these stories genuinely based on historical events, or have the stories been concocted later on? It comes down to that thing of the chicken and the egg, what came first. For example, the story of the man that was supposedly murdered on the moors. Have people seen his ghost sitting on a wall and standing at the bar and then have concocted the ghost story around him, or did the events really happen? Certainly there's been numerous other sightings of seemingly historical people within the building, such as highwaymen, children, even airmen. But have these stories grown up around the ghost sightings, or do the ghosts originate from the actual historical events themselves?